Triple H is opening up about some big potential plans, so we'll see what that's about. We'll also check out what's going on with Trish Stratus, Sonya Deville, and more. Starting things off with Triple H's interesting reveals for big potential storylines that could be coming in the future. While appearing on the Pat McAfee show, Triple H dropped what appeared to be a teaser for a future interaction between the Wyatt Sicks and the Bloodline. Triple H had this to say on that possibility. Quote, "The amount of people that you have still to come and the amount of storyline that you still have to roll out, and then it makes me beg the question of, so down the line, whatever resolves around the Bloodline, whatever resolves around the Wyatts, like, man, that's if those two come together. That's intriguing." End quote. These comments mean a lot coming from Triple H because obviously he's the man that can make something like that happen since he's the head of creative. So that's a good sign that some ideas are already floating around in his head about these two factions to collide. It doesn't look like this crossover will be happening anytime soon though, because the groups are busy doing their own things right now. The Bloodline is in the middle of not only a transition of tribal chiefs, but also on the brink of their own family civil war. So that should keep them busy potentially for the rest of the year. And for the Wyatt Sicks, they're just arriving on Raw, introducing themselves and potentially coming after Chad Gable and his group. So they both have big things that they're working on right now. But like Triple H said, if these two groups ever cross paths with each other, that'll be very interesting. Both groups mirror each other in plenty of different ways. They both have ruthless leaders. They both have crazy members that'll be willing to do anything they're asked. So it'll be great to see how exactly they do cancel out each other and who comes out on top. Last time WWE had an absolutely historic faction versus faction battle was right around the mid-2010s with the Wyatt family versus the Shield. Those two groups got plenty of time together for iconic and legendary matches. And now, this would sort of be like the next generation of that legendary feud, because it's still technically Bray Wyatt's family against Roman's family. So if those two groups meet in the future, it goes back to what Bray Wyatt said about everything always coming back around like a circle. Like we discussed a few times in the past, Uncle Howdy has already teased the idea that he's still upset over Payback 2020, and how Bray Wyatt was screwed out of the Universal title due to Adam Pearce not properly getting Roman to sign the contract on time, and how that led to Roman cheating. So the fact that Bray was screwed by Roman back then does give Howdy some motive to come after the Bloodline. But the Bloodline now splitting into two separate groups, it'll be interesting to see which Bloodline Howdy would choose to go after. Does he go after Solo Sikoa or Roman Reigns? Well, his current storyline on Raw is already giving hints to that. WWE has alluded to the idea that Howdy came after Chad Gable because he didn't like how Gable was behaving towards his own family. Chad Gable was screaming at them, verbally abusing them, and nearly hitting them. So if that's the stuff that Uncle Howdy doesn't like and targets you for, then Solo Sikoa is absolutely prime target for Uncle Howdy. Solo just finished destroying Paul Heyman, who is someone that's been loyal to Solo's family long before Solo was even born. Can't forget what Solo Sikoa did to his own brother Jimmy Uso as well, and how he's been treating Roman Reigns. So you might have not have noticed it, but the seeds are already there for sure. You can say Solo Sikoa is probably doing even worse things than Chad Gable is doing. So if Howdy gets word of what Solo's doing to his own family, that may just trigger Howdy to come after Solo Sikoa, since Solo's doing the things Howdy despises the most. But that may be down the line because both groups are already in early stages right now. Sure, the Bloodline has been around for years, but it's now under new leadership and has new members. So this version of the Bloodline hasn't won anything yet, nor proved anything yet. So they have to establish themselves as a credible faction. Likewise for Howdy and the Wyatt Sicks. We got glimpses of Howdy's character in 2022 and 2023, but the Wyatt Sicks is a brand new faction that needs to establish themselves as well. So maybe once both factions build themselves up, then we could get that big crossover feud. And hopefully it's as memorable as those previous faction versus faction matches in WWE history. Trish Stratus and Lita are some of the most legendary names, not only in the history of the women's division, but in all of WWE history in general. They were full-time superstars back in the early 2000s, and even after they retired, the both of them have come back plenty of times over the years for special programs and feuds. Their most recent one being 2023. Lita even won the tag team titles with Becky Lynch in 2023. But once Trish entered the picture, things got a bit twisted. Trish would end up taking out Lita with a backstage attack, and then turn heel on Becky Lynch to feud with her for the rest of the year, with Trish's last match taking place at Payback 2023. And a lot of fans have been having questions about their future, because Trish's most recent match was a loss, and fans can't really see her last match ever being a loss and going out like that. And for Lita, she was attacked backstage, didn't even get to defend her tag team titles, and just vanished after that. So a lot of fans feel like she's owed something more proper too. Well, Trish and Lita were recently taking part in a question and answer session, and they had this to say about the topic. Quote, "Retirement? What is retirement? I'm not familiar with that word. I don't know anything about this word. We just stay ready. That's just a general statement that we like to live by, just in case." End quote. Lita added that staying ready works perfectly in WWE because of how often plans could end up changing, so they're always ready. So the way Trish and Lita are making it sound, it seems like they most definitely expect to get back in the ring sometime soon. We also can't forget about the big moment that Trish Stratus had with Tiffany Stratton at Money in the Bank that was heavily leaning in the direction of teasing another match for Trish. So we should absolutely expect to see another one from Trish down the line. This week's Raw featured the long-awaited arrival of Sonya Deville's new faction. Sonya first popped up a few weeks ago, and she instantly started to talk to a few superstars about a project that was on her mind. She spoke to Natalya, Shayna Baszler, and Zoe Stark. Natalya appeared to be on board with Sonya and agreed that it was time for change, while Shayna and Zoe were actually very dismissive of Sonya at first. Sonya disappeared again after her backstage return, leaving fans to wonder about what happened to what she was planning. But right on schedule, Sonya, Zoe, and Shayna made their first appearance as a trio on the July 8th edition of Raw. So even though they originally wanted nothing to do with Sonya's plan, it looks like they all eventually reached an agreement off screen. And the first group they went after was Damage Control. Zoe Stark made it clear that they were coming after them since Io Sky took Zoe out of the match when she threw Zoe off the ladder. Zoe said that Io was taking everything from her, so this new group will be coming after Damage Control. It's a very intriguing new trio. Lots of MMA background with this trio, lots of brutality and hard hitters, so they should be a lot of fun to watch. It was Sonya who first had the vision and put the group together, but it definitely appeared like Zoe Stark was in the leadership position, at least for the July 8th edition of Raw. So that'll also be something to watch out for. Who will be the clear-cut leader of this new faction? And will they also bring in new members like Natalya in the future, since they did tease that? But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on, and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.